Washington Post. California plans by the year 2035 to ban the new sale of gasoline-powered vehicles. And they plan on doing the same for trucks, like semi-trucks, by the year 2045, mandating that everything be zero emission. So what does this mean for a consumer like us? Well, California is basically setting a trend for zero emissions. Since automakers, they're not going to make a lineup for parts of the U.S., they're going to make a lineup for the entire continent. So this means that sooner rather than later, everyone's going to be in the market for an electric vehicle. And for today's topic, I'm going to be talking about an alternative zero emission. It's hydrogen fuel cell technology in cars. So what is that? Using information from the U.S. Department of Energy, it's similar. There's still electric motors. I would just think of an electric car, but instead of the battery, replace it with a hydrogen fuel cell. So there's basically a tank of hydrogen, a pressurized tank of hydrogen. When it's needed, it's brought to a hydrogen fuel cell, which is then converted into electricity, and the byproduct is just water. So there's a little hose and water comes out. But it's basically just a different source of electricity. So you're still getting zero emissions. So what does that mean, right? I could easily just go get a Tesla and do the same thing. But in a Tesla, you can only basically go a little bit past 250 miles. So that'll comfortably get you across the state. But a lot of people don't want to go zero emissions since, well, what if I want to go to Orlando or something like that? I want to go to LA. That's going to take significantly longer in a battery-powered electric vehicle. But with hydrogen, the biggest benefit is that it's a transportable fuel. So that means that when you're low on hydrogen, it's basically the same as refueling on gas. You go up to a hydrogen pump, put it in, fill it up, and then you're on your way. So this is a really good idea for just keeping everything similar. So instead of gas stations, they can have hydrogen pumps. But it's a really big deal for trucks going EV, since they need to be going across the country, shipping. Sounds got 2-day delivery. So. And this allows them to do that. They can just refuel and be on their way instead of waiting an hour or two to recharge. And now you're probably thinking, well, I've never seen a hydrogen fuel cell, let alone a hydrogen fuel cell pump. And they do exist, just in very small numbers. The only two that you can go out and buy today are made by Toyota and Honda. They make 2 in total, but you've probably never seen one before, since there are none in Missouri. They're only in California, and this is because the data shown by Energy Information Administration, there are only 60 hydrogen pumps in the entirety of the United States, 40 of which are open for public use. And they are all in California, every single one of them. Now, Washington Post did an interview with an engineer from Toyota saying that, well, the engineer was saying that Toyota's never really had to tackle an infrastructure problem before. They've sold cars, they've never really had to worry about where someone's going to go fill up on gas. Since there's only 2 on the market, the government isn't really very hesitant on making hydrogen pumps across the U.S. It's just, there's only 2 cars on the market. It's kind of just a waste of money in that sense. So, the automakers are having to do it themselves. So why I'm saying all of this today is because it's a developing technology, and the biggest problem overall is just infrastructure. It's just not there yet, and that's because no one really knows about hydrogen fuel cell technology. Now, since EVs are the future of the automotive industry, whether you like it or not, I would just like you to think of hydrogen as an alternative fuel. Like you go to the gas station, you have ethanol and you have diesel. Now, they're not meant to replace gasoline, but they're alternatives. Trucks use diesel, some cars use ethanol. There's pros and cons to both. And I think hydrogen fuel cell technology is an alternative of the future. Maybe you want to go a longer distance. Maybe you don't want to wait at a fuel pump for an hour. And some people can do it. Some people need to get places. So, and the only way it's going to grow is if people know about it. That's why I'm telling everyone. I'm trying to spread the word, because the only way hydrogen fuel cell technology is going to be a thing in the future is if people know about it and consider buying.